Hello, this is Ruth Ann. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to do an empties video. I have several perfumes here to go through, empty bottles. I've been working hard at it. So this is this month's selection. So I'm going to just get started. First up, I have a Swiss perfume by Victorinox. I don't know if you can see that there. Victorinox. This is called Swiss Army for Her, Mystique Forest. So this perfume, when I first covered it in a haul video, I think it was last summer, I really raved about it because that was my first impression, and I still like it, and I've gone through it. I thought it was going to be, and actually what it is it's a green, slightly green, fresh fragrance. It's a very minimalist, it's very clean girl aesthetic kind of fragrance. However, as I wore it more and more, and as you can see, it used it up, late in the dry down, there's a little bit of sweetness. And I think it's citrus. It's a citrus sweetness, and it mixes with the green notes in there. So in the opening, it's beautiful. In the mid, I would say it's beautiful, but deep into the dry down, there's this weird kind of sweet, slightly greenish citrus that I didn't care for. It's almost a little sour, I would say. And that bothered me a bit. Now, this fragrance lasts for hours. I'd say it's an average length, somewhere in the 4 to 6 hour range. But because of that dry down, sour, sweet note, I don't really know how to do. I think I'm describing it, but I don't know what note that is exactly that's in there that does that, but I didn't care for it. So how I used this primarily was as a bedding and room spray. So I wore it quite a bit. That note bothered me. I switched to using it up because I ended up not caring for it. But this is a real inexpensive fragrance if you like green, fresh. Now that's a very unique kind of combination of green and fresh. And with some citrus in there. And it starts out like you're in the Swiss mountains, and there's, you can smell the forest in the distance, and it's really, really wonderful. And the bottle's gorgeous, and it's got a great sprayer. But that dry down thing bothered me. So anyway, I don't plan to replace it. Next up, I have, this is Blass Hot. All right, so Blass's #1 perfume is nude. Comes in the same bottle as this, except for it has a gold top. This one's called Hot. So this is like a warm yellow musk. It's got a lot of fuzzy, fizzy type aldehydes in here, but it's also got a wonderful amount of vanilla and spices in there. It is a bit like you could call it Christmas in a bottle. It does smell a little vintage because of the aldehydes, but the aldehydes are really only there in the opening, and then they die down quickly. And there's a beautiful amount of this cinnamony, it's not clove, it doesn't go in the direction of a gingerbread man, not at all. It's very sophisticated. I found it to be beautiful. This was not a bedding or room spray. I wore this. Perfect winter fragrance, great for Christmas. I wore 2 primary Christmas fragrances, this one and then another one, which I have not used up yet, which I'll probably cover in my next empties video. But really, really lovely. Cannot recommend it enough. This was a real cheapie, about $30 on eBay. I don't know if they're still making it or if it's been discontinued, but it's really lovely. If you like spicy fragrances, I highly recommend it, and it lasts a really long time too. Next up, I have French Coffee by Rehab. This is a beautiful, warm yellow musk. It's a gourmand. It does not smell like French coffee. If you've ever been to France and you order if you just order a cafe in France, you will get espresso. So this does not smell like espresso. This smells like you've gone into Starbucks and you've ordered a mocha or any kind of generic sweet coffee drink. It's lactonic, it's chocolatey, but it's more of a cocoa coffee chocolatey fragrance. Coffee first, chocolate second, musk third. And it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And it lasts really, really well. When I would put it on before bed, I would still smell it in the morning. When you get into your bed the next night, you can still smell it on your sheets. It's faint, but it's there. It's beautiful. It's not very expensive. I do have a backup bottle, and I highly recommend it. If you like gourmand coffee drinks, coffee scents, I should say. All right, next up, I have a smaller bottle of pink sugar. This was a gift to me from my best friend when I was really first getting into perfumes. I should say, I've been into perfumes my whole life from my childhood, but I mean when I really started collecting. And that is YouTube made me do it when I first discovered. Like, I didn't even know that perfume channels were a thing. And then when I found that out, I started watching perfumes, and I didn't even know sweet perfumes were a thing. Like, really, I mean, I work all the time, so you have to excuse my ignorance, but a lot of people were recommending these sweet, inexpensive fragrances, and this was the one that always came up on everyone's favorite list. So she went with me one day to I think it was like a TJ Maxx, and I picked up a full-size bottle. And she and I both liked it. And she knew that I'd used mine up, and so she bought me another one. This is a 1.7 fluid ounce, so it's a little smaller, but still beautiful, still lovely. It's a sweet toothache kind of, if you've ever been to like I pretty much grew up at our state fair, and when you go to the fairway, the midway, where all the rides are, and they have those big stands where they make pink cotton candy, and the smell of the vats, as they're going in and turning the sticks on to pick up all the sugar, that's what this smells like. It's really wonderful. So there's a little bit of a burned quality to it, burned sugar, but it doesn't go off. And then there's a little bit of licorice in there, but the licorice really only is in the background to give it character. You really do not smell licorice. And I would say it's not black licorice. It would be more of a red licorice, because there's absolutely no anise in here. If it's in here, you can't smell it. And I guarantee it, because this is my second bottle. Now, this one I used this winter primarily as a scent for running. So I tend to wear strong, sweet fragrances when I'm running, and I run year round. And I run about 5 days a week. And so I use this up doing that, and it lasts really, really well. You can sweat like a pig. You can be in any kind of weather, and this will be with you. Lasts a good 8 hours, and it's gorgeous. I highly recommend it. All right, next up I have, this is Guerlain Chant d'Arôme. And if you can't read the labels, and if I say it too quickly, worry not, the names are all down in the description. So Chant d'Arôme is a fresh citrus fragrance with a lot of kind of clovey-like spices in the background. So first you have aldehydes, second you have citrus, third you have spices. And the spices really make it a ladylike kind of vintagey kind of fragrance. Cloves and those kinds of spices were all the rage back in the 70s. Chant d'Arôme, I believe, was first put out, it was something like 50s, 60s, 70s. So it's definitely a vintage fragrance, but it has not lost any of its beauty. It doesn't last really long though. I would say this is in the 4-hour range before needing reapplication. Primarily citrus. It does have a bit of that Guerlain, the classic Guerlain, but it's really in the background. It's not at all offensive. This is not a dirty fragrance. For instance, it doesn't compare to Jiki. Jiki is their dirtiest, filthiest fragrance. In fact, I went through a bottle and I was almost embarrassed to wear that out in public because it was so filthy. This is not like that at all. So if you're looking for a fresh citrus with a little bit of a twist, For summer, I wore this primarily in like late August, September. We had a very late summer here. It stayed warm well into September. We were still able to wear shorts, which is very unusual for the northern climate I live in. And that was when I used this up. And I only had about this much in the bottle when we went into that season. So it's perfect for that kind of a late Indian summer. I highly recommend it. It's beautiful, but it's not a real long laster if you can get it for a good price. Okay, next up I have a smaller 1.7 bottle of just Sarah Jessica Parker's Lovely. This is a very well-known scent. Not going to go on and on about it. Absolutely love it. It is a peppery white musk, very clean girl aesthetic, very inoffensive. It has a lot of floral notes, and it just, Lovely is the perfect name for it. The unique thing about it is it is extremely ladylike, very feminine. It projects like crazy, and typically white musks mixed with florals tend to be very close to the skin and a very intimate fragrance. This really projects. It's not really fill the room, it's more of a scent trail fragrance. If you wear this and you're walking down a hallway, people will be able to pick up your scent. Never offensive, never overwhelming. I've never met a single soul who's never ever disliked it. It's beautiful, and I do have a full-size backup. This is one that I would never want to be without. Next up, this is a great love of mine. This is Avon's Candid. So this is a sandalwood fragrance, and it's a dry sandalwood fragrance. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've come to absolutely love this fragrance. Again, I've fallen in love with it again. I kind of put it on the shelf and forgot about it from last winter, or maybe even the winter before, and then I picked it up. I often layer this. Avon has body creams that go with it, and they smell exactly the same. Really, really lovely. They're I'd say mid-quality in terms of moisturizing, but the scent is lovely and it's nice and strong. That's the nice thing about the scented body creams from Avon, is they really are stronger than average for a perfume lotion, and they just layer beautifully. So if you like sandalwood, it's just beautiful. It lasts a good 6 to 8 hours. However, it's a fragrance that will excuse me, it will call to me from across the room, and after a couple of hours I can't stand it anymore if it's not really strong, and I'll put it on again. I love it that much. The problem is that I will go 3, 4, 5 days because wearing it in a row, because I love it that much. I'm just on a sandalwood kick. It's perfect for winter for this time of year. However, after about 5 or 6 days, I go seriously nose blind on it, and then I just have to reapply it way too often, and it only comes in the 1.7 fluid ounce bottles, but the good news is they're like under $10. So they're very inexpensive, and the body creams are too. And I just picked up I'm going to do a haul video after this one, and of course I picked up a backup bottle or replacement. So Avon Candid, if you like sandalwood, you have got to try it. And next, I have another Victorinox fragrance. This one is Morning Dew. You can see the name on it, Morning Dew. This is a big bottle. I went through the whole thing. There's a couple of drops in the bottle in the bottom. This is a very nice, fresh, inoffensive fragrance. If you really don't like perfumey perfumes, you don't like to smell like perfume, you're looking for something, you can get away with this in a perfume-free zone. It's that light. It wears that close to the skin. Morning Dew, I suppose if you went out in not a wooded area, because there's no woody, foresty kind of quality. There's no greenness in this. This is really citrus and fresh, but it's very subdued, very, very light. If you're looking for something very light, fresh, the reason I used it up is because I work in a perfume-free zone, so this worked beautifully. and it can be reapplied on a break, and you can still get away with it. It will just come off. If anyone gets close enough to you, it will come off as a lotiony, soapy, natural kind of fragrance because it really doesn't project much. And that's not a criticism, because there's a real place in this world for that kind of fragrance. So you can feel complete in a perfume-free zone, or if you're around people who are really sensitive to perfume, this is a really good option. Not very expensive. You can reapply as much as you want. Probably only lasts about 3 to 4 hours, but that's pretty much average for any perfume these days. And I do highly recommend it. Now let's see, I have a few perfume oils I'm going to cover really briefly. This one is Camay Soap. I love to just wear these. These are especially useful around people who are sensitive to fragrance because it just smells like soap. You can also very easily get away with these in perfume-free zones, and more of us I know are stuck having to work and be around those kinds of places. So Camay Soap, it also layers well. It really extends that fresh soapy feeling when you're just out of the bath or the shower. Avon by the Sea. Now, I got this from a perfume oil something or other online. I don't remember. I always buy these on eBay. Avon on the Sea. I have no idea what the original fragrance is. I don't know if that's an old Avon fragrance, if Avon by the Sea is some high-end, I don't know, and this is a dupe, no idea. But this is a fresh green soapy fragrance. That's all I can say about it, and it lasts a really long time. And it's almost slightly masculine. And then I have Valerie's Uncommon Scents. If you can see that there, Valerie's Uncommon Scents, and this one is Strawberry Shake. So this is a very strawberry lactonic, smells exactly like a strawberry shake. Probably something more like if you were doing a strawberry smoothie at home rather than a strawberry shake from, say, McDonald's. That smells very artificial. This smells more like fresh strawberry. And it was really, really lovely. So those are my 3 perfume oils. Let's see, what else do I have here? I went through one bottle of Exclamation. This is by Coty. This is a lovely, lovely fragrance. You cannot let the tacky 80s bottle fool you. This was actually formulated by, she's one of the most famous perfumers, and her name escapes me right now. But anyway, what I'll do is I'll look it up and I'll put it in the description box. You know, when I list Exclamation, I'll list her name in there. It's Sonia or Sofia, something like that. Anyway, I'll have it in there. And that's only just to lend some credence to what a masterpiece of fragrance this is. This is like, how I would describe it, it is primarily a warm, sexy, peachy fragrance mixed with some earthy notes and musk. And it's absolutely gorgeous. It was extremely popular in the 80s. I remember a lot of girls wearing it back then. It's got a slight sweetness to it, but I wouldn't categorize it as a sweet or a gourmand fragrance. But the dominant note is peach. So if you like a warm, musky, peachy, it's just absolutely gorgeous, you guys. You can pick up a bottle for about $20, $22, and it lasts for a good 6 to 8 hours. It's perfect. It's signature scent worthy. You could wear this anywhere. You could wear it to a wedding. You could wear it out for dinner, morning, noon, night, year round. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, I think it has some sandalwood in there too, but it's more like a sandalwood mixing with musk, giving character kind of a thing. Absolutely gorgeous. So that's it for my empties. I had quite a few of them because I haven't done an empties video for a while. And that's all I have for you on this one, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.